Okay, so the first thing we're going to make is the background face for the sleepy owl. So we're going to do a magic circle, and go ahead and get your J hook, crochet hook, 6mm, and you're going to drape the yarn across your 4 fingers, and then just hold it with your thumb, and then drape it around your 2 middle fingers, and then hold it in place with your pinky and your thumb, and then just take your crochet hook, go under the 2 loops on the middle of the finger, and just loop the yarn with the hook and bring it under, and then you're going to yarn over and go through that loop on the hook for your knot. So that's going to be your slip knot, and now we're going to do 6 single chains into the magic circle. So just go under the 2 loops, grab hold of the yarn, you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through both loops on the hook for your first single chain. Two single chains, 3 single chains, 4, 5, and 6. And then you're just going to take your 4-finger and thumb and grab the base of the 6 single chains, and then you see these 2 loops on the opposite side. You're going to pull on one of them. If it doesn't pull, let go and then pull on the other one. But this one's pulling, so I'm just going to pull it shut. And you don't have to pull it too tight. And then let go and then pull on the other string. And then your work looks like this. Now we're going to do 2 single chains into each stitch. So in that first stitch, you're going to do 2 single chains. One, 2, 1, 2, and then you have a total of 4. 1, 2, total of 6. Total of 8. 10, and then the last one you're going to do 2 single chains into for a total of 12. 1 and 2. Now you're going to get your yarn marker, and I'm just going to use some of the leftover from my magic circle for my yarn marker. I'm just going to cut that and just put it right where you left off. And now we're going to do an increase round. So you're going to do 1 single chain in the next stitch, and then 2 single chains in the stitch after that. So in the next stitch, you're going to do 1 single chain. In the next stitch, you're going to do 2 single chains in the same stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around, back to your yarn marker, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so your work should look like this. Go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up to the next row. And now we're going to do another increase round, and we're going to do 1 single chain in the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single chains in the 3rd stitch. So in the next stitch, you're going to do 1 single chain. Next stitch, 1 single chain. And then in the 3rd stitch, you're going to do 2 single chains. 1, 2. So go ahead, repeat that pattern all the way around back to your yarn marker, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. And your work should look like this. And now we're going to do another increase round. Go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up. And then you're going to do 1 single chain in the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single chains in the 4th stitch. So the next stitch is 1 single chain. Second stitch, 1 single chain. 3rd stitch, 1 single chain. And then in the 4th stitch, you're going to do 2 single chains in the same stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to your yarn marker, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, and your work looks like this. Now we're going to do another increase round. Go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up. And you're going to do 1 single chain in the next 4, and then 2 single chains in the 5th stitch. So in the next stitch, do 1 single chain. Second stitch, 1 single chain. 3rd stitch, 1 single chain. 4th stitch, 1 single chain, and in the 5th stitch, you're going to do 2 single chains, 1 and 2. So go ahead, repeat that pattern all the way around, back to the yarn marker, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. You should be back, and your work looks like this. Now we're going to do another increase round. Go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up. And we're going to go into the next 5 stitches and then 2 single chains in the 6th stitch. The next stitch is 1 single chain. 2nd stitch, 1 single chain. 3rd stitch, 1 single chain. 4th stitch, 1. 5th stitch, 1. And then in the 6th stitch, you're going to do 2 single chains, 1 and 2. Go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around, and when you come back, I'll show you the next step. Okay, go ahead and remove your yarn marker and put it up where you left off. And we're going to do another increase round, and you're going to go 1 stitch into the next 6 and then 2 single chains. So in the next stitch is 1 single chain, 1 single chain in the 2nd, 1 single chain in the 3rd, 1 single chain in the 4th, 1 single chain in the 5th, 1 single chain in the 6th, and then 2 single chains in the 7th stitch. And go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around to the yarn marker and come back and I'll show you the next step. Alright, this is going to be our last increase round. Go ahead and move up your yarn marker, and we're going to do 1 single chain in the next 7 stitches and then do 2 single chains. So in the next stitch, it's 1 single chain, 2nd stitch, 1 single chain, 3rd stitch, 1, 4th stitch, 1, 5th stitch, 1, 6th stitch, 1, 7th stitch, 1, and then in the 8th stitch, you're going to do 2 single chains, 1, 2. So go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around, back to the yarn marker, and then I'll show you the next step. So you should be back to where you started. Now we're going to do a slip stitch. So if you go into the next stitch, go ahead and yarn over and then pull through both loops on the hook. And then we're going to do the ear. So go ahead and chain 1 and turn. And then you're going to do a single chain. Here you can see that there's a little loop right there. You're going to go into the next stitch over for your first stitch. So it'll be 1. And then you're going to finish off. So go ahead and yarn over and pull through. And just enough to sew into your work. And then you have the 1 ear. And then you're going to take your yarn marker. Actually, you're just going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you're going to join your yarn. Let's go ahead and loop the yarn through that 7th stitch. Leave enough on the back for sewing or tying your knot. And then do a chain 1. Turn your work over and then just tie your knot. I'm going to tie it 3 times. And then you're going to go into the next stitch, do a single chain, and then you're going to go 1 more for another single chain, and then you're going to chain 1 and turn, and then just do 1 chain into that next stitch, and then finish off. And you have your ears for the owl. And we're going to do a yellow border. So go ahead and get your yellow yarn. And then you're going to take your G hook or 4mm crochet hook. And you're going to go right in the stitch before that ear on the right side, and just take your yarn, the yellow yarn, and loop it through that stitch, and you're going to do a chain 1, and then you're just going to turn it over and tie a knot on the back. I'm going to tie it 3 times. And now we're going to do a half double crochet border all the way around. So we're going to go ahead and chain 2 for our first half double crochet. And as we work, we're going to bury the yarn as we go. So you go ahead and yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over. You have 3 loops on your hook. Go ahead and yarn over and go through all 3. And you're just going to keep doing half double crochets in every stitch all the way around. And I'm going to show you how to get around this first ear. And you can see how I'm burying that yarn end as I'm working. Okay, so we're going to get to the first ear. So you're going to go into the first stitch that you can see right before the ear. And then the stitches aren't as easy to see, and you're just going to work wherever you see a stitch. You're just going to go into that stitch and just work a half double crochet. And every yarn, loose yarn strand you see, you're just going to bury as you're going. Now in the tip of the ear, you're going to do a half double crochet. And we're going to do, in the same stitch, you're going to do another half double crochet. And as you're turning to go down the other side of the ear, in that same stitch, you're going to do 1 more half double crochet. So 3 half double crochets into that same stitch, and then yarn over and go into that first side stitch that you see. And you're burying your yarn ends as you're working. That way you don't have to bury them later. Yarn over and go into the next stitch. And then you can see that last stitch before you reach the body. You go ahead and go in there. Do a half double crochet. And then the first stitch on the body, and now you can see every stitch. It becomes easier to do your half double crochet all the way around. So go ahead and do this all the way back to where you started, and then come back and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so now you should be back to where you started, and we're going to do a slip stitch into that first half double crochet that you did. Go ahead and yarn over and pull through both. And then you're going to finish off, yarn over and just pull enough yarn through that you're going to sew into your work. And then we have the border for the L. Okay, so you're going to use your G hook or 4mm crochet hook, and we're going to start with the magic circle. Just take and wrap the yarn around your 2 middle fingers, and then hold it with your pinky and your thumb. And then just go under the 2 loops. Go ahead and grab the yarn and pull it under. We're going to do our slip knot. Go ahead and yarn over and pull through the loop on the hook for the slip knot. Now we're going to do 6 single chains into the magic circle. So yarn over for 1 single chain. Two single chains. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then just let go, and with your forefinger and thumb, grab the bottom of the 6 single chains, and then you see the 2 loops on the opposite side. Go ahead and pull on one. If it doesn't pull, then pull on the other one. Grab the loose yarn end and pull that. Now we're going to do 2 single chains into each stitch. One, two, next stitch, 1, 2, for a total of 4. 1, 2, for a total of 6. 1, 2, 8. Come on. 1, 2, for 10. And the last 2 for a total of 12. And then go ahead and get your yarn marker. Put it right where you left off. And now you're going to do 1 single chain in the next stitch and then 2 single chains in the next stitch for an increase. So 1 single chain, and then in the next stitch you're going to do 2 single chains, and you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to your yarn marker, and then come back and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and slip stitch. So into the next stitch you're going to yarn over and then just pull the yarn through both loops on the hook, and then you're going to finish off. Go ahead and yarn over and pull through, and then pull enough for sewing onto your work. And then go ahead and make 1 more of these, and then I'll show you how to sew on the sleepy eye. Okay, so you should have both of your eyes done. Now I'm going to show you how to do the sleepy eye. Go ahead and get your tapestry needle and put your black yarn onto your tapestry needle. And then you're going to take your work, and you can see there's a little hole right there, and if you want to close that a little bit, just pull on the magic circle string on the back, and that'll close up the hole. And then I usually start the same area that the hole is right across, and then come up about a stitch in, because you want to leave room to put your sleepy eye lashes, and then just come up, leave enough yarn on the back for tying the knot, and then just start stitching in the eye. And make sure the back doesn't get all tangled as you're working. And then you just make a little U shape. And you want it to be level with the other side. And then I'm going to do the first lash. So I'm going to come in at an angle. And then go back up into the same spot that I finished. And that's my first lash. And then I'm just going to do lashes all the way around. Back to the beginning of the U. And then the last lash I'm going to do is right where I started. And then you have your sleepy eye. So go ahead and tie your knot onto the back. And I like to tie it 3 times. And then you can go ahead and cut it. And then go ahead and sew on your other sleepy eye. And then I'll show you how to do the beak. Okay, so now we're going to do the beak. Go ahead and get your yellow yarn. And you're going to use your G hook or 4mm crochet hook. And we're going to do a slip knot. Go ahead and fold a loop into your yarn. Put your crochet hook through. And then I just hold it with my middle finger and my thumb. And then I just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the loop on the hook. And that's my slip knot. And I'm going to go ahead and chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to do a slip stitch back into the second chain from the hook. Go ahead and yarn over, and then you pull through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. And then we're going to do a half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So you're going to yarn over and go into the next stitch, and then do a half double crochet, yarn over, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through all 3, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, and then go through all 3 loops on the hook. And then we're going to do a double crochet into the last 2 stitches. So go ahead and yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and then go through the last 2. And then the last double crochet, yarn over, go into the last stitch, yarn over, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through 2, and then yarn over and go through 2. And now we're going to finish off, yarn over and pull enough yarn to sew your beak onto your work. And we have our beak. Okay, so now you're just going to place your eyes and your beak where you want it onto the border or the background for the sleepy owl face. Here's the center of my circle, and then I'm going to line it up with the sleepy owl eyes. So just take your yarn with your tapestry needle and sew it into place, and then your beak will go right in between. Okay, so this is how my sleepy owl face looks, and I'm just taking with my tapestry needle the last loose end that I had, and I'm just going to bury it into the back and just kind of thread it through the back with your tapestry needle. And then you can go ahead and cut that. It's okay if you have some loose ends on the back because this is going to be buried when you put it onto the onesie. So you can see how you're going to sew on your onesie onto. Make sure you have only the front flap that you're going to sew with your tapestry needle, and just take your blue yarn and then you're going to sew it around the edge of the owl onto the onesie. Okay, and I'm just showing how I'm sewing the onesie on. And here I'm just taking my tapestry needle with the light blue yarn, and I'm just going all around the edge of the sleepy owl. And now I'm in the ear, just going in the corner of the ear. And I'm just going on only the front flap of the onesie. And you're just going to go around and just sew the sleepy owl in place. And this is how your sleepy owl looks. And you can't even tell with this variegated yarn that I even sewed it in place.